By the way, Thor's comp for Laporta, for Sinnott was Laporta. Thor, I want to talk more about that because you were out for the Ben Sinnott pick to the uh, Washington Commanders here. That is a very high comp there of Sam Laporta. So let's hear about more of the why you think he's close to that player.
Yeah, everyone who has been around with us here that was around for last process knows how much myself and Debro love Sam Laporta. So it is high praise, and I do love Ben Sinnott, but I would say 95% version of Laporta. But I could not find a guy that fit it, where it wasn't doing like the 95%. So Laporta became the closest guy that I could get to Ben Sinnott. There is so many similarities there. You have the frame, you have the athletic profile, you have a guy that can play inline, gives effort as a blocker every single snap. You can move him around, do that different stuff. And as a receiver, there's two very specific things that I like about his utility as a receiver that I think the NFL will very much appreciate. And very interesting here that he goes in the second round. I was pretty bullish on that. Certainly was a second rounder on my board. So sort of interesting that he gets that equity tonight. But the number one thing, we talked about this a lot, this process with JJ McCarthy and with Drake May about their throws and their efficiency and their success throwing over the middle between the hashes, that 10 to 19 in the intermediate range, and how in the NFL that's a particularly important sector because you have to make the defense defend that. And then once you do, you get them to have their resources there. That's how you get the one-on-one shots downfield in the NFL. Ben Sinnott is awesome in that range of the field. We don't typically talk about that like with receivers or with tight ends or whatever, but it's a very important skill, being able to catch the ball in traffic and pick around guys and then catch the ball, hang on when you're about to get smacked. Ben Sinnott does that stuff. And then he's awesome after the catch as well. He's a tackle breaker. And that was the other thing where it evoked Laporta for me. Laporta last year, obviously, that's the thing we talked about. All of his process was just a berserker after the catch. Ben Sinnott, big time tackle breaker, pulling up the tackle broken numbers last year with him, 14 last season for Sinnott. For instance, Brock Bowers had 18. And then the number two guy in the class, he's going to get picked tomorrow, Dallin Holker, but that was in the G5. Sinnott was number 3 in this class in terms of that. Sinnott also had 15 explosive plays, despite the fact that a lot of that usage came in that intermediate range. He'd catch the ball, and then he'd be breaking tackles, and that's typically how he would get those 20-plus yarders. But a guy, again, the two-way utility with him, with the blocking, with the catching. Last year, the blocking grade on him with the PFFs in the run blocking, 76.1. That was the highest of any of my top 6 ranked tight ends. And then if you go to the top, let's see, of the guys that I ranked like top 12, he would have been the number 2 ranked guy in terms of AJ Barner is a stub blocker, but he's not going to give you the receiving utility. Sinnott gives you both of those things.